So you can see that is really not bad at all until we get back here. Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and if you're new to my channel, I hope you stick around and consider subscribing. I put in videos every week on some Jaguar and classic car related content, and today I thought we'd continue the disassembly of my barn find 1966 Jaguar S-Type. So yeah, if you're new to the channel and you haven't been following along, I'll just briefly talk a little quickly about the car. So it's a 1966, used to be a 3.4S, also sometimes called the S-Type. It had a 3.8 liter engine in it, no transmission. I've removed the engine, the doors, and almost everything from the interior and the exterior. I just have some carpets left and some other small things. All this was documented on film over several episodes. I put a link to a playlist up above and down below if you want to check that out and sort of get up to speed. It's all put in a playlist and it's really easy to follow along. So now the next thing I want to do is, the car does have some rust, and I'm not really aware of how much it is, if it's just what we're seeing on the outside, or if there's more, in the floors and around the transmission tunnel. All that's covered up. So I just want to remove the carpets, the sound deadening, all of that, and see how good the floors are. Hopefully they are solid. They do seem to be pretty solid. How good the inner sills are, I have no idea how they are, and some other things just around. And we'll go through all the rust on the car and see what it looks like. The reason I'm doing it now, even though I won't start the rust work right away now, the cutting out and welding in new stuff, however, I need to check if I can get a hold of which pieces and where they're coming from. So if I need to send them from the UK, it's really good to order them right now before the end of the year, because after the end of the year, at least as far as I'm aware, full Brexit sort of goes into place, and that probably means it will be more expensive to get things shipped here to where I live in Sweden, because it has to go through customs. It's not coming from the EU anymore, so I need to look into that. If there are special panels that I need, which I can think of 2 at the moment, let's see if we can find any more. And then I'm probably going to order them right now just to make sure it won't get really expensive. So one last thing before you head on over into a small workshop and have a look at the S-Type, I'd like to thank all the patrons over on Patreon who continue to support this channel every single month. And thanks to you guys, I have upgraded the sound on the channel, so maybe I'll sound a little bit different now. Hopefully I do sound clearer, and it will be better, especially when we're outside. I got this new lavalier, so a little mic down here, a clip-on thing with a big fuzzy thing on it, so it should work really well outside. I also got a separate audio recorder I can put in my pocket so I can walk around more freely, and you'll have the sound coming straight from my mouth and won't be far away to the camera. Hopefully it will sound a lot better, especially when doing things outside. The reason I picked this up now also is because I am planning I'm going to announce it now, it's not completely done yet, but I'm planning a Christmas special series, so there will be extra videos coming out in December, sort of a video series on a special thing, and most of that seems to be outside. I'm going to start filming the first bit now in a couple of days, so that's why I got all of this, but I thought I'd try it out now in a couple of videos just to make sure it works well, and hope you guys can hear me really well. So let's head over to the other little workshop and have a look at the S-Type. Here's the S-Type pretty much as I left it the last time you guys saw it. When we moved cars around and we got it down here into the small workshop that's going to be turned into a metalworking workshop. There's still a lot that needs to be done down here. There's some things over there in the corner that needs to be moved. There's some extra roof tiles for this building and some old windows I'm going to throw away. And actually back there is some new exhaust pieces for the XJ12. So there's some things need to move around over here. And then I also need to do something about the ceiling in here. We're going to put in some isolation between here, put some board up, and then some drywall on top of that. Do some things on the side, and do something about the windows as well in here. Get some better windows in here, which are not so thin and won't let all the heat out, so I can actually try and heat this place up a little bit. We'll also be replacing that door as well. But those are all, projects in the future. But the car's in here, it's dry, so we can actually start working on it. The only thing I have done since you saw it last is I've gone out a couple times and I've sprayed all of the bolts to hold the seat belts in place. They go through the floor, so I've sprayed them and made sure that they all move. This one I've taken up quite a bit because that one was really the one that was stuck the worst. So I moved it in and out a lot of times. I used a breaker bar, being really careful not to snap it, but now it's pretty much almost up. So spray the last. The other ones are pretty easy. So my plan is that we'll remove those, put the seat belts away, try and get the carpets out, try and get all this sound deadening out, just as much of it as possible. But I don't want to disassemble things like the handbrake and anything else. I just want to get rid of these things so we can have a proper look at the floor and the sills and see actually how rusty this thing is. I just sprayed this bolt a little bit more. That is the only one that's being a little bit difficult. So let that sit just a few more minutes and then take this one out first. Here's what the mount looks like. I'm not sure, I don't think these seat belts are original. I think they were probably a dealer option, so they're probably from 1966, but I think that they weren't fitted at the factory. I think they were done at the dealership. This car only has seat belts in the front and not in the rear, so I think when I put this car together, I'm gonna see if there's an easy way to put seat belts in the back, because I think every passenger should be able to have seat belts, even though you're not required to by law on such an old vehicle. Got this side off now as well. Just gonna unhook it from the top and I'll leave the mounting point on there for now. And it's just the same thing on this side as well. There's that one. I've undone it here on the bottom now, and up top you can just twist it to one side. Let's see, it's this side, and it will come off. I'm gonna leave those mounts on there for now. Okay, let's move these out of the way and see if these carpets will come out. With the seat belts out of the way, the carpet should lift out pretty easily now, so let's see how that goes. Let's see. Top red carpet, put that to the side and we'll shake it outside. Here is some type of sound deadening. I don't really have to be too careful because I am replacing all of this, but still want to try and get everything out in one piece, so I can see what it looks like and compare it to any new stuff I get. And here's that sound deadening that came out. And that's looking really good so far. Okay, let's see what the other side looks like. And that's out as well. Okay, that removed a little bit of this sort of, I think this is a spray-on sound deadening. It's very similar to, I think, you have originally on the XJs as well. This I will definitely be removing because that's just gonna crack and trap moisture underneath. But the cool thing is, I mean, this must be originally a factory primer under here from 1966. That's pretty neat, actually. Okay, I'm not sure which order I'll go now, but I think remove this carpet and center console one, or the tunnel here, then we'll do the sills. It's kind of the sills where I'm worried that we'll find some rust, but we'll see. So while trying to remove this piece of the carpet, it seems like this air duct here is held in place sort of around the carpet. So I just lift it up here, and I can see a flat screw on each side. So let's undo those and see if this thing comes up. think this is a pretty nice feature for a 1966 car. You get hot or cold air on the feet of the rear passengers. I think that's pretty advanced. All right, this all comes out. It looks to be some sort of plastic and some nuts came out of it or something. So probably the same mouse that lived over there really liked this thing as well, but thankfully he or she did not chew on it. So we'll put that to the side. Okay, that piece of carpet is out of the way. Let's see how easy it is to get off this sort of sound deadening. I kind of hate this stuff because it's all full of fibers, if it's horsehair or whatever, and it goes everywhere. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm gonna remove that right now. I'll put that back for now. I really do hate that stuff. Let's just continue with the carpets. Okay, so it's a while later. I decided to put on a respirator mask and I just ripped out most of the sound deadening and the rest of the carpets. Some of the sound deadening is still stuck in place, but I removed it in those places where you can see where there's common rust places. And some of it's just stuck on there really bad, so I'll have to get a scraper and a heat gun to get the rest of it off, but it's not something I'm going to do today. So if you can see, there's a pile of stuff that came out on that side, and here is all the stuff that came out on this side. So everything is being replaced. However, I will be keeping everything for now, so I'm going to put everything in just tight plastic containers, just so no mice or anything can get to it up in storage, because this stuff is great for nesting material. It's absolutely amazing for that, and I don't want to give them that privilege because I want everything to be complete so I can compare it to new stuff. Not sure if I can get new sound deadening of the similar material. Maybe I'll have to use this as templates, or I'll just go a completely different route and use a much modern material that just sticks on there. I haven't really decided yet. So I did find one little piece of rust, so we'll have a look at that. It's in here. If I'll crawl into the car. So here on the passenger side, we have a little bit of rust. Let me see. I don't want to get too big of a shadow, but right there, that's some weight reduction right there. However, it's just into the floor here, and it's, I mean, of course you're gonna have to cut up and sill it a little bit, but really it's not much, and all the way around, it's pretty solid. This was just laying up here. Let's see if we can get rid of a little bit more of it. As you see, moving back, the floors are very, very solid. Let's see if I can do the same thing over here. Yeah, so the floors are overall really, really solid, except this little part right here. So I don't think I'll have to order a piece of floor. That can probably just be made. Pretty simple shape. There's no point in ordering a complete floor. I don't think I need an inner sill as well, because maybe it'll just have to be a little piece here to reinforce, but all of that is super solid. Let me get a screwdriver so I can tap with it so you can hear. I mean, that's really, really solid. Over up in here, into the engine bay, firewalls, really solid. Transmission tunnel, extremely solid. I mean, it's like brand new. Over here is where it still has some sound deadening left, but look under here. We're talking, it's like brand new. See if I lift up some of this here, and yeah. It basically just looks brand new. I found the tiniest rust hole on the other side, which is really surprising. I thought I would find a lot more, especially on the driver's side. You can see that right there. That is the only rust I've found here. I could push that out with a screwdriver. The rest of this, it just looks really good. Then we have some up there as well. I forgot about that, sort of the inner wing piece up there, but really overall not that bad at all. Let's have a look at the back. And here is the back as well. Just want to get a screwdriver and have a look around here, because there's definitely been some water standing there at some point. But yeah, I mean, that's nothing. That's a little bit of surface rust. Let's see. This is difficult to do left-handed. Yeah, just want to proof to seeing that that's just some surface rust, nothing at all. Back here as well, in the back of the sill, that's just surface rust as well. Everything is extremely solid. Over here by the emergency brake as well, it's really solid as well. So overall, I'm really positively surprised, because I mean, usually when you see this level of rust on the outside, it is a lot worse on the inside. I've only been able to look at this car underneath before I took the interior out, and I just, knocked underneath a little bit with the back of a screwdriver. It sounded pretty solid, and actually, when I sat in it and put my feet on the floor felt really solid. And I mean, this is incredible levels of solid, I think, for a car from 1966. But I'm gonna grab an extra light now, and I will show you guys sort of where the main rust spots are on the outside. Okay, starting on this side up here, the front of the car is just perfect. There is no rust, nothing really here. It is absolutely perfect. Moving back here, we have the back of the front wings. We have some more weight reduction right there. We have a pretty substantial hole in there, and that's where I think it goes into the panel underneath, where we can see some daylight in the footwell there. And yeah, you see I think there's a panel missing here. I think it's not supposed to be that flexible. I'll have to look in the manual, but I think that there's supposed to be a panel between there. So coming down here, but in here, sorry, so you guys can see, in here it's looking really not that bad. A little bit of surface rust there, and okay, a little bit right up here with a support out to the bumper, I think, but that's all really simple shapes as well, so that's really not an issue. Let's move to the back, or let's move along the sill here. So you can see that is really not bad at all until we get back here. So here's the jacking point in the back, and the sill is basically, sorry, having some light issues here. The sill is just, and around the jacking point, it's just gone here. However, further in is really solid, because I had to use that point over there when I had to jack the car up once a little bit to get some air into the tires, and that was really solid as well. So, I mean, outer sill in the back here is definitely needed, and I mean, in the car over here, definitely don't need an inner sill, but probably an inner part of the sill in here, which will have to be, this will have to be cut away, the other part, inner part fixed, and then the other part put back on with a new sill. So probably don't need to get any specific parts for this, just some sheet metal, and that should be fine. We have the rear arch here, and I do have new rear arches for the car, so they will be replaced. I have a panel that goes from here all the way down here, so that will be replaced. So, I mean, yeah, it will be a pain, but not that big of an issue. Once again, there's no rust or anything around the windows or anything around the, the rear here, around the lights. All of that is really good. I'm not going to look right now because I do have some stuff back here, but the whole floor of the boot is like brand new as well, and there's a really nice spare tire in there on a chrome wire wheel. Same on this side, and I do have that panel as well, so this will need to be replaced. Exact same thing, goes a bit further back on this side, but the panel goes all the way back to here, so that's not an issue. It's just a little bit tight on this side. And exact same thing here. So outer sill and probably a part of the inner sill where the jacking point is. That's all that's, you know, under the seat over there. And let's see if I can move some of this. And here, it's not as bad as the other side, but basically you need the exact same panel here. So remove all of this and, you know, hole up there. And quite a bit holy up there as well. Let's see what it looks like in here. And we have the same issue. And yeah, here I can see the metal. So yeah, there has been a piece of metal that goes over there as well. But the inner part here, which goes into the vehicle, or I mean into the cabin there, does not look bad on this side. So that can probably save just a little bit down there. And now we're back to the front of the vehicle. So in conclusion, I'll have to order a few panels. I'm gonna order a panel because I've seen that you can get, I hope you still can get, the front of the car in sort of two halves. You can get the whole front bit here, which I don't need, but you can also get the back half of the wing from about halfway down the wheel here, all the way back to the doors here. So that would be perfect to get one of those on both sides, get all new metal. And what's the inside of there, so the inner panel, I think that can just be patched with some regular sheet metal. That's not a problem at all. Up here, won't need anything. Forgot to mention in the engine bay, up by the battery, there's a little right there. So a small little patch panel will have to be made up there, but nothing has to be purchased or anything. And you know, the inner wings and all that look really nice. I'll show it on this side. So we'll need the outer sills on both sides. I do have one of them. Not sure if it's a right or a left that came with the car, so I'll need one more of those. I don't think I'll need a piece of the floor over there. That shape can be made. It's not really that complicated. And I don't think I'll need inner sills. They seem to be fine. I do have the rear arches repair panel, so that's not an issue as well. I'm gonna check if there is something special I might need in the back with the jacking points, but my guess is that's probably just really regular flat sheet metal that needs to be, you know, welded and reinforced, and should not be anything too special. So this is overall really great news. The car it hasn't gotten worse in my eyes. I thought it was gonna get a lot worse than this, so I'm really happy. This is a good basis for a restoration. Yes, there is some rust to take care of, definitely, but it could be a lot worse. I mean, I could lift out the carpets and seen the ground. It could have been nothing left. To have floor that's that solid on this old of a car in this condition is absolutely amazing. And that's it for this episode. And I think that was some really good news with the S-Type. So feeling kind of lucky because it could have looked a lot worse. It could just been, you know, straight down to the ground when I lifted up those carpets. But floors are really solid, except that little part up there on the passenger side, but that's really small. Inner sills are good, so I think I'll just have to order up one outer sill. I do have one of them, and I'll have to get those panels up front for the front wings, or the back half of the front wings, and I think that's pretty much it I'll have to order. So I'm gonna go on and see where I can get these parts, and if I can get them from somewhere closer, or if I have to get them from the UK, and then, you know, sort of sort that out and see how that goes. So anyways, if you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. And until next time, I'm Adam, and this was Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.